Hello, everybody. I see a lot of you came on
Wow.
early.
Yeah.
That was Andy. You're at the top of the list. Yay, Andy. You win a big prize, Andy. You get a new car. Yeah, not happening. Sorry. So Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Shady Susan. Ooh, Shady. Why are you shady, Susan? And Jan's here. Hi, Jan. And Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Barb and Glenna and Purple Wall. And Adam's here. Hi, Adam. Oh, Adam, I was thinking of you the other day because where was the tulip pink that we saw at a good
Yeah.
price?
So Sisters in Toronto,
Yeah, there's a
and they had a lot of Tula pink and older patterns too.
yeah on it, and it was actually fairly good price too, wasn't it?
Yeah, 9.95 a meter,
A meter, nine ninety
or
five,
9.96 or something.
996. Holy crap, that's really. I'm almost tempted to go on there and order some, even though I'm not as big a fan as Adam is of Tula Pink. Dana's here. Hi, Dana. And Faith. Hello, Faith. Laura's here. Francis from Ireland is here. And Eddie's here. Hi, Eddie. Emma's here. Amy's here. Pamela is here. Suzanne. Well, everybody's here today. So, long weekend here in Canada, but I think it's a long weekend across North America, actually. It's Labor Day weekend. Adam says, "Oh Lord, help me." Yeah, you might want to check out their website, Adam.
In their clearance section, actually.
Yeah, it's called So Sisters, right?
So Sisters Quilt Shop in Toronto.
In Toronto, North York. North York is a suburb of Toronto proper. Hi, Wendy. Okay, Susan, I thought there'd be more of a story to it than just a play on your name. I was hoping.
It's sew-sisters.com.
Sisters, sisters, Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister.
I don't know if they shop. I don't know if they ship to the UK, but they have.
Well, I think they have international shipping, don't
They
they?
have those ones.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't say they have the indigenous ones. Ooh, I have to go back and explore that a little further. Green Quilts Galore is here. Hello, Green Quilts, and hello, Sue from Norfleet.
Yeah, how we ended up at
Or
the
no,
South
still no,
Sisters was you were trying to get more of the fabric that you were making your sister's
yeah, table runner.
table runner for, and she had lots of it in stock, and it was a good price.
Yeah, it was dirt cheap. It was $10 and something a meter because it was a discontinued fabric. She had bolts of it. It's too
Yeah.
bad I didn't really like it because at that price I almost want to buy a bolt. But I might look at the tulip pink again. Do I need more fabric? It's not a need, as I've always said. It's a want. Yes, it is, Francis. It is a pint of Guinness.
And I have Kilkenny.
Yeah, and killed Kenny. Oh no, they killed Kenny. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. Did I miss saying hello to anybody? Donna. Hello, Donna. I hope I haven't missed anybody. Because I know everybody likes to hear their name on a live YouTube channel, don't they? I mean, I do. The guy who sews gave me a really nice shout out today on his weekly vlog that he does on Sundays as well. And you probably know him because I've interviewed him as well, but Sean. But that was really nice of him, I thought, to give the shout out. So anyways, let's get into things. Well, Walter has so much to show you, it'll take the whole afternoon. So buckle in, you're in for a bumpy ride. Okay, Walter, you're on.
I haven't done anything new.
Oh, surprise. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And if you were suddenly to like work on something, what is it you have left up there that you haven't
Well, I
finished?
still have a bunch of shirts I haven't finished, and I've got I have those shorts that I still need to be done.
Hmm.
And
Well, we're just about moving into fall
and
now.
I've got once I do that, I want to get some embroidery stuff going for the winter.
Got Christmas bags to
yeah.
make. We got the
And
neighbors.
so I'm supposed to be going next week to, well, we have Craft and Chat on Wednesday, so I'll
Yes.
be doing some then. And we have I have a sew day for the group that I used to sew with at um at the club or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They have a sew day on next Saturday, so I'm planning to go to that too.
Yeah, I'm going to talk more about that and also about a possibility of a pop-up sew day coming to, and I'm going to talk about craft and chat as well in a moment, but let's see what people are saying. I saw, oh, Gail's here. Hi, Gail. And Mark Jan is here, and Amy C is here. Amy C says, oh, Francis says, I'm from Kilkenny. Do they actually make the beer there? Is that why it's called Kilkenny? I thought it might have been from the South Park television show. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. Whatever, little joke there. Amy says, Team Tula here. Yes, you need more Tula fabric. Am says, oh, it's all curiouser and curiouser. I have bolts. Laugh out loud. So does Amy. Amy C. Yep. Stephen Gale says, have you ever done a video on the cameras, frames, etc. use? Yes, I have. Gail, some time ago. And I think I'm up to date with what I use now for that. I think the last time I did that, it's there somewhere. It'll be in the section, my playlists that are about my vlogs. I think I did one in there and showed how to, I might make another one at some point in time because I'm always sort of changing things, hopefully improving them. Marchan is on vacation with her family in Virginia. Needlesmith says pop up. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Good. Adam says good lass, Amy.
Wendy, no, I didn't finish my shorts yet. And I wasn't, the jacket way back when. No, I haven't done anything to the jacket because I got ticked off at it. I wasn't happy with the exterior shell of the fabric that I was using. So if I do that jacket, I want to get some different fabric for it because I don't like it.
Well, Eddie says, Steve, did you see Kate's interview with Kate? Well, no, I didn't, Eddie. But funny thing was, this afternoon while I was doing some embroidery, I was watching my YouTube videos that I put in for Watch Later. And of course, Kate's came up and I saw that it said Kate in there. Then when I went to it, unless I clicked on the wrong one, she was talking about the jacket she's been working on. She never mentioned Kate at all. So I must have clicked on the wrong one. So I'll have to go back and check that out. For sure. So thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, because she does a lot of Kate too, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. Gail saw it. Eddie was in the show. Great.
Tell me about the lights near your ceiling.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just a strip light that comes on at 5 o'clock at night. It's just around by my 3D printers, and they just change. They're disco lights.
Well, actually, it's almost 4:10, so it must.
Well, no, I turned them on earlier because
okay.
there was too much of a glare. I'm using the 3D printers right now, and I have lights on those as well. So I turned the lights off the 3D printers, and it looked a little dark. And so I thought, well, I'll turn those on early. So yeah, that's all those are. I think I picked them up for like $16.99 on Amazon. They're just a long strip, and you can run them from your phone. There's an app for them, well, actually, it's an app that's with some other things that I have for lighting down here. I can run most of my lights down here from my phone. And there's a lot of lights in this room, believe me.
M wants a question about machine embroidery. What is your question?
Yeah, what's your question, M? And if we don't know the answer, we will lie about that. And while M's getting ready to put up his question, so you've got all those projects and you haven't got any of those done, and so maybe you'll get caught up on.
Yeah, I know. I have been lacking. What do you call it? Motivation to sew.
So what have you been doing in the meantime?
Making a pie.
Yes, he's making a pie, but he's been having a little problem with the pie today. He's trying to find reasons to blame it on the ingredients, the cooking utensils, me, whatever. I don't care what it looks like. I'll eat it. It's pie. It's my favorite food. Okay, M says, I'm looking for one and notice that there are hopping foot and non-hopping foot. Some machines come with only one and some with both. Are they for different types of embroidery? That is a very good
Good question.
question. Our machines have hopping feet.
And it was explained to us. We noticed that Steve had a combination machine before, which was the
15,000.
15,000 Janome, and his foot didn't hop when he was doing embroidery. And we asked the store owner, why does the dedicated embroidery machine have the feet that hop?
Foot hops.
And the one that had the combo machine didn't. Well, she didn't really have a great explanation.
No.
Other than the one that was a combo machine, they didn't hop because it was a combo machine. But as far as I know, dedicated embroidery machines, for some reason, the feet hop, but I don't know why.
Well, your foot on your on a long arm hops. I think.
Does it?
Does it? Maybe it doesn't.
I don't think yours does.
Maybe it doesn't. I heard once, and I don't know how true this is, that the hopping foot is better because the way fabric lays down, it won't get caught on an edge of the fabric as readily. I don't know. I don't know where I heard that, why I even think that, but really, I can't answer that question.
No.
I am not
You
sure.
might try to do a search on the internet, but
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't 100%, I'm not 100% sure why it does that.
Maybe somebody on here knows. I don't know. You know, why, what's the difference between a hopping foot and a regular foot? Yeah, no, it doesn't. The long arm doesn't have a hopping foot, because if you were to do ruler foot quilting, you couldn't have a hopping foot. So yeah, that's right. So yeah,
Eddie says, don't take advice from Walter about embroidery, because you'll end up spending a lot of money.
enable.
You know, if you get an embroidery machine and you buy all the stuff associated with it, yeah, you'll end up spending a lot of money because of all the different threads you need, and
the hoops.
Well, I mean, the hoops usually come with the machine, but stabilizer and bobbin, your threads and stuff like
needles.
that. And with the threads, you can buy threads that are specific to each project that you want, but every time you have a project, you'll have to go out and get specific colors for that project type of thing, and eventually you'll build up a supply of threads, right? Or you can go out and spend all the money and get all the threads,
like we did. And when I say we, Walter did, because he bought me a big box of embroidery threads when I first got in the machine, and I just keep adding to them all the time. So I have hundreds, literally hundreds of different colors in embroidery threads, and they're pricey. So yeah, if you're getting into machine embroidery, be prepared that it's not a cheap hobby. Okay, it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are quite surprised that when you're doing machine embroidery, that a pattern could actually call for 25 to 30 different colors of threads. Yeah. And when a spool of thread costs you like $6.99 or something like that, that can add up quite a bit.
Yeah. So Eddie says he bought all the Monfil threads because of you.
Yeah, well, that's Monfil. The prices are quite reasonable for their threads, and you can get a box of their 50 most used colors for around $100, I think. I think it's about $85 or something like that. But they're 1,000 meter spools, I believe, and that'll still last you for quite a bit. And it will be fairly flexible. But if you get a complicated pattern on embroidery, it can use quite a few different colors of thread. And
yeah. But having said that, you don't need hundreds of threads to do most designs.
No.
If you have a good standard supply of, 50 threads, they're in the basic colors, but you have shades of those colors, then you're probably pretty good. And as time goes on, you can add.
I mean,
to
the ones that I'm talking about that require 30 thread changes is a complex pattern, right? If you're doing simple pattern, you may not need that many. So,
and even on the complex patterns, sometimes you don't need.
Yeah, sometimes you can substitute. Yeah, I mean, there's one that I did that was a butterfly pattern, and it called for all kinds of colors that I didn't like. And I switched them out for colors I liked. So,
Yeah. So, but anyways, back to your question, Em, about the hopping foot. I'll have to do some research because I don't really know. We don't really know what the difference is. Um, so let's see, go down here. Hi, Cheryl, who's joined us. Jan says she uses glide thread for all my sewing needs. I use glide thread for my long arm for quilting. But there's nothing saying I couldn't use glide thread in the embroidery machine either, because you can pretty much use. Although, you know, machines are temperamental. I did an interview this afternoon with a 100 proof quilter, which will come up in a couple of weeks' time on my site. And we got talking about that a little bit. And that some machines, there's certain threads that won't work in certain sewing machines. Every sewing machine, and same with embroidery machines, has its likes and its dislikes. They're kind of like people in a way. So you have to figure that out too. So my advice would be, if you buy a embroidery machine, don't go out and suddenly drop several $100 on, you know, hundreds of threads. Several hundred, let's say several thousand, because that would be more like it. Don't spend all in case though it doesn't like those threads, if it gives you problems, and then you've got all that money invested in stuff that you really can't use. So, you know, buy whatever they recommend, the manufacturer of it, what their product is.
Or like, I mean, if you buy an embroidery machine from a shop and they specialize in that brand of machine, they can advise you as to what, like they often sell the brand that will work with their machines. So,
like, go with a big brand, a name to start with too, like Floriani, Glide, the threads from Monfil are fine. By the way,
with Janome machines.
Yeah, with Janome machine. Well, that's all we can gear it on, because that's all we've had is Janome machines. So I'm not sure about Bernina's and Baby Locks and, you know, Brother and that kind of thing. But yeah, it isn't. You have to play with your embroidery machine until you get comfortable with it. And then let's see. Dana uses Monfil embroidery thread too. And M says, I want to learn embroidery, digitizing, and patterning and see if there's a career change can happen. Steep learning curve. We have Artistic Digitizer, which is a very expensive program. It's about $1,100 Canadian. It is meant to digitize things and that. And I have to be honest, I have not used it that much. And it's one of those things, we've taken a couple of courses in how to use it. They weren't that great, the courses that we took. It was a bit disappointing. But it's one of those things you have to play with on a regular basis. And to learn.
Like, I mean, I've used the software that we have, which is our Janome Artistic Digitizer, which is actually a copy, or it's sold under the Janome brand Artistic Digitizer, but there is a generic brand that the company makes, and it's called Draw Stitch. Draw Stitch is the company that makes the Artistic Digitizer for Janome. You can actually go out and buy Draw Stitch instead, but it's the same price as the Artistic Digitizer. But they have tutorials online and stuff like that. But it is, unless you have a specific need or you want to do a specific pattern, there's a lot of, it's a bit of a learning curve. You have to try and understand how stitches go certain ways and stuff like that, and minimize your stitches and everything. There's a lot of things to get to know.
Yeah, M says he Googled and asked around, assuming he's talking about the hopping foot. No one has a definite answer. Machine manuals don't explain it either. Yeah, I know. That is something Walter will look into it. He likes to do that kind of thing. Oh, hi Rachel. Good advice. My machine hates some. Laura says, did I say hello to you, Laura, at the beginning? If I didn't, I did now. Is your embroidery machine Janome? Jan says, yes. Stephen and mine are both Janome 550E embroidery machines. Yes. Green Quilt says, I have to leave and return to chat. Always something to learn. The interview with Chris English, then the fabric designers by Kate were both interesting. By the way, it's Colleen. Changed my UT name. Oh, okay, Colleen. And Laura says embroidery interests her. I think I might try to find a class and maybe give it a try before I financially commit. That's probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea. They're quirky machines, too.
Embroidery, there's a lot of things that most people just think of it as like your regular embroidery on something, and it does a lot more than what you think you can do with an embroidery machine. Like, I mean, there's the guy that taught my sewing classes. He bought an embroidery machine. He bought a secondhand 500E, which is the model below the 550E, and he says, well, I'm never going to use these big hoops. I only want little hoops because I only want to make little patterns, right? Well, he says he uses his big hoops all the time. So,
and you hear that from a lot of people when they're first going into embroidery. They think if they get a machine, the less expensive machines tend to only come with a limited number of hoops, and they're usually very tiny. And they're thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to embroider monograms on towels, or, you know, a small little picture on a pocket of a shirt. No, you will do a lot more than that as you get into it. So you want to buy a machine that comes with more than a couple of hoops, and go with, you know, one that has fairly large hoops as well. Because if you do like I do all the time in the hoop embroidery projects, you need the larger hoops to do them. So, you know, embroidery machines do so much more, and you've heard us talk about this before, and you've seen examples of it that I've shown you that we've done, that both Walter and I have done. They do so much more than just a monogram on a towel. So, you know, if you're going to invest in one, for the difference in the price, a couple of $100, go for, you know, as much as you can afford to spend if you're serious about getting into it. Gail says, before I forget this, Stephen, have you thought of putting a string of light appliques on your Christmas tree? Yes, Gail, I thought of that, and I've decided not to. Because as it is now, I'm getting tired of this project, and I've got enough appliques, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second here. Well, I'll show it to you now, because I guess Walter has nothing else to show us. Whatever. So let me just pop up to where's the Christmas one? Okay, and switch the camera over. Okay, so now those appliques on this are not sewn down yet. I'm still playing with their arrangement. You can see I've added some Christmas gifts and some snowmen to the bottom and a few extra stars. And when I took this picture, I hadn't the angel. I now have an angel in where I had a star originally, because I thought the star was getting lost, and so I made a freestanding lace angel, and it's going to go in the center of that block at the very top of the tree. And I've been playing around with how am I going to put these all on, because I need to quilt it. Should I quilt it first, then add the appliques? I did look up videos showing you how you can applique using your long arm, but I knew I'd screw that up. But with what I've been working on this week, there is in my computerized software for it, there's something called Eclipse, where you can actually tell the long arm on a continuous design, what they call an edge-to-edge design, that as it comes along to this one spot, skip it. Work around it, but don't put anything in that spot. So I can mark in the computer where these appliques, once I get them all sewn onto the top, where they actually are located, and the long arm will know not to stitch over top of them. And that's the way I'm going to do it, because I just figured out how that works, and actually it works really well. Now I understand what everybody, when the new version of the software came out for this program, when they heard they had this Eclipse thing, why they were all so excited. Now I get it. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing those appliques onto the top. I'll get my arrangement. They're just pinned there right at the moment, just in a way. And then I'm going to slap it on Lucy and see what happens. So yeah, that's why I'm not doing the little lights. If you want to get real elaborate, you could do something like they do with what's that company? Everybody's into it. They're machine embroidery. They do a lot of bench pillows. We're just talking about it today. Oh, I can't even think of what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember now what it's called. It's somebody's name.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm telling you, it's hard to get old. But anyways, that's the plans for this. Um, but what this company does is they have add-on kits where they put little fairy lights. You sew them right into these creations. And yeah, you could do something like that with this too, but no, I'm not going to get into that with it.
Kimberbell.
Kimberbell, that's the name of the company. Yeah.
I didn't even have to as I was looking it up.
You win the prize, Kimberbell.
Yeah.
So I finished my Halloween quilt, and there she be. I finished it this morning, putting this binding on it. Now this one, you can't really see it in this picture, and see what I can blow up here to see the quilting. Okay, you can see it in the white. It's spiders and I don't know what that is. Move. It's spiders and spider webs. I didn't realize when I started this design how dense this design is. The quilt weighs a ton. I had a few little problems when I was doing it, but I was able to, for the most part, I couldn't even show you where it might be off a little bit because the quilting is so busy, the fabric is so busy, and everything like that. But it went through a lot of thread. I went through almost a full package of bobbins on this, and there are 15 bobbins in a package, I think, with it. So that's a lot. I didn't realize it was going to come out this dense with it. But anyways, it took me a long time. I worked on it over 2 days to get this done. But anyways, I'm kind of happy with it. The only thing I'm not happy with is if you look at this binding that's here, that is the same color as the backing on this quilt. And so what do? It's dark purple, so I pick in my bobbin thread black. Can you see it? Nope, you can't see the quilting at all on the back of this. I should have done it in white or something. But then I was afraid that if I screwed up, you'd see the mistakes like on the back. Of course, just don't show the back of the quilt to anybody, then they never know. But anyways, luckily that backing fabric I use actually has a swirly pattern in it in sort of a light goldy kind of color, and it almost looks like it's already quilted with that. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's just a Halloween quilt anyways. So I mean, it's not like this one's going to sit out all year. It right now is over the back of a couch in our family room upstairs. That's where I put each quilt when I finish it. It gets to sit on the couch, the honor couch, until the next quilt replaces it. That's how I look after it now. So did that, and I did finish my sister's table runner. There it is. Now, okay, the picture looks a little weird because it's 72 inches long. I had to put it diagonally on my dining room table to get it all in, and I had to stand on a chair over top of it and take a picture. And so that's Walter standing over in the corner with his hands in his pockets, trying to find my mistakes. There aren't any. It's perfect. And I was talking about that eclipse. And if you look here in the center, the quilting in the center here is different from the main quilting. These are feathers. Where's Fidel? Did he come on yet today? I did feathers, of course. Fidel does his free motion. I do mine with computer. And I did this little block in the center in a slightly different complementary pattern. But this is where the eclipse comes in. Because what I did was I quilted, had the machine quilt this part first. Then I set up the continuous edge-to-edge design, but I told it, when you get to this point, I drew a square on the computer around this area and told it, don't sew inside that square. And so when it got down here, it calculated how it could get around that and continue the pattern. It works really well for that. So we took it. It looks a little skewed too. The table runner is not crooked. The points line up on both sides. It's just the angle I took that picture with. We took it over to my sister's on Friday, and she seemed to like it. So, but the real opinion comes from his nibs.
I thought it looks really nice.
Ooh, high praise.
And the back is that
Same blue that's in the diamonds.
no, the back isn't that.
No, that's right. The I was thinking
The
of
binding is,
Yeah.
but the back is that
the one with the pattern in it.
the pattern
Like-
in it is all on the back. So which is matches her. That's the fabric that we got at Sew Sisters
Yeah.
to so that it would match that if she flipped it over, it would be a plain one with those colors in it.
Yeah, because I had thought if I could have pieced the backing. I hate piecing backings though. I really do. So we went and bought 3 meters of that, and that worked out well.
And it was a good price. It was only
Yeah.
10 something a meter. So
Yeah, $10 $10.97 or something like that a meter. So that's a darn good price. Okay, let me get out of this so we can see here. So, we're just backing up here to see what people said. Okay. Boy, a lot of chatter here when we couldn't see it. Yeah, Faith says her Bernina hates sulky. Yeah, I've got some sulky threads too, and my machine doesn't really like it either.
I don't know. I've got some sulky,
Of
and
course you do.
I've been using it,
Of course you
and
do.
it's been working fine.
Actually, that was on my old machine on the 15,000. I haven't really tried it on the M7.
Oh.
I got some King Tut too, but I think my thread's a little thicker. I think I need a larger needle for that, but I haven't really played with it. Oh, Cheryl Marshall is here from Kansas City. Pamela says amazing embroidery files are available. I'm learning so much by watching you, gents. Well, we're glad you're learning stuff. Yes, there is, you name it. There's an embroidery file out there for whatever you want.
Yeah, the things that I wasn't really familiar with the embroidery machines when I started getting into it is like the ones where you had where you could, it will sew around an applique, and you can incorporate fabric in with your designs and stuff like that, you know, when you do
yeah.
And also I wasn't aware that you could do things like freestanding lace and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's just so much you can do. You can actually make a bag.
Yeah, and they have all these in the hoop projects that you make a bag or all kinds of other
things. And we're not just talking here about embroidering on a bag. We mean make the bag, you know, the pieces and stuff like that. You make quilts in them. I've done it as well. They're very involved, but you can do it.
Like those wall hangings that you have behind you. A lot of those.
Yeah, all those ones you see behind me are all done in the embroidery hoop.
Yeah.
Yep, they're all done in the hoop. What they call. Had an EM embroidery machine, hated it, gave it away to someone who needed a machine to earn a living. Feel good, yes, but relief too. So, why did you hate it, Colleen? Was it just that it was too involved, or did you have problems with it, or what? I'm just kind of interested. Mozilla is here. Mozilla, that's you have another name, and you told me last week, and I can't remember now. Maybe off base on embroidery machine. My Janome 7700 hopping foot does not hop because there are quilt rulers out there now that can be used for sit down quilting.
Well, I think that the 7700 it's not a dedicated embroidery machine, is it? I think it's a combination machine which does regular sewing as well as embroidery. The Janome 550E, like the one we have, or the 500E, or the 450E, or the 350E, are all dedicated embroidery machines. They don't sew.
Yeah.
You can only do embroidery on them, right? So, and all those ones, the feet hop on them.
Yeah, but you can also get, like on my M7, if I switch over to my free motion quilting foot, it hops. That one is designed to hop. Yeah, because of the ups and downs of when you're quilting the layers. That's what a hopping foot is actually for. And that's why I think on an embroidery machine, the reason for the hopping is because when you are going through more than one layer of stuff. Like you have your stabilizer or your fabric. You may have backing fabric on it too, depending on the project. So the hopping from what I
Yeah, it
understand.
might push it back down.
Yeah, it does. It keeps it from dragging, as
Or
it's.
it keeps it from pulling loops up and stuff like
Well, it
that.
might be
right?
part of
Or
that too.
Yeah.
Well, you get on that and research it. We'll
Yeah, I
report
will.
back next week. Laura says, great advice, Stephen. I would want to get a machine with a variety of hoop sizes. I don't want to limit my options right off the bat. I'm the type who tends to think so big or go home. Yeah, exactly, Laura. I don't think you can have too big a hoop. Okay, for most of the stuff, unless you're trying to do a quilt in it. Then that's a story for another day. We've talked about that before. Kimberbell, yeah, we finally figured that one out. Cheryl, everybody knew it except us. Yeah, and we were just talking about it later. Thanks, Amy.
Things you talk about all the time, and then you don't remember it when you want to talk about it. So
Yeah, the first panto, Amy says, not computerized, ever did was spider's web, and yes, it does go through the bobbins for sure. Yeah, it does. Yeah, the table runner I think turned out nice, and she seemed to like it. So we'll see if I go over there another time for dinner and I don't see the table runner anywhere, and there's something else on it. I go, so didn't like the table runner, eh? Well, no, it's lovely. I just want to keep it in the bottom of a drawer where all can not admire it. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, that's the things that I've been working on, and I've got a couple of classes I'm all booked into coming up. I think I talked about those last week. But you want to know something that pisses me off about taking classes? There's always something more besides fabric that you have to buy. We went into Ultimate Sewing yesterday for this class I'm taking.
well, they're trying to get you to buy product.
Yeah, I know that. I get it. But it's just always kind of annoying for that. Because, first of all, you pay for the class. You're paying for the fabric. And then I needed to have a special ruler. And I needed the book. The ruler was about $30. It was a 60-degree ruler. Now, I already had a 60-degree triangle ruler, but she recommended, I had a big one. She recommended a smaller one. She said, you can use the bigger one. But I find that the smaller one is better. Well, I figure I'm taking this class. Let's do it right. And the book. And I thought I had that one beat because it's called a One Block Wonder with panels. And I remembered, hey, wait, I have a book about that. I wonder if it's the same book. No, it's not the same book. Same company, same author, slightly different. And you want to know what'll get my goat? We probably won't even refer to the book. Because I've done that. I've been in classes before where, yeah, you need this book, and we never used it. Never used it. So, or even the pattern for that matter with it. Well, mind you, there is copyright. So it might be why when they take one that's not their own pattern kind of a thing, they kind of have to, they can't photocopy and give you a copy of it because that's a violation of copyright. And they are a business. But anyway, so that cost me another $60. So, it's $55 for the class, $60 for this equipment. I've already bought, this takes 7 panels. I bought 7 panels at $16 a piece. So 100 with tax and everything and shipping because I couldn't get them here. I had to get them from K&A Studio. You've seen that review of this, one of the stores we went to. We're in London. So that cost me about $121 for that. Actually, I got free shipping on it, so over 100. But then I said to Walter, okay, I bought 7 panels, but I know, what if I cut one wrong? I'm screwed. But I couldn't get any more from K&A because I wiped them out. I got all their panels. So we did a search. I could get them from a few places in the States, but we don't know what that's going to end up costing because of shipping and who knows duty. So I found a place in Canada, in Alberta. Wasn't cheap. Between shipping and for 2 panels, it's costing me about $60. But at least I'll have 2 spare panels. So yeah, bite the bullet. So already I'm into this class for like a couple of $100 before I even started taking it. But that's the price you pay, I guess, to learn something new. Colleen says, too much room needed for it in the hoops. Too much programming and devices needed to load them. Too much other stuff to piece with. I like much better. Wait till you see what I'm working on Wednesday. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody.
I mean, especially a lot of people don't realize that when they get one, that there is some knowledge of technology that you need to be able to load your patterns into the embroidery machine and things like that. So, or transfer them from your computer to the embroidery machine. And some people are just not into that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whatever. Amy says, or she safety pins the tassels onto the table runner. Yeah, I think I have her talked out of the tassels because I didn't want to put tassels on that thing. I told her, what do you want it to look like? A stripper outfit? What's that, little pasties on the sucker? And Purple Wall says, oh, yeah, special ruler. Yeah. You know how many special rulers I own that I've used once? Because it was for a class?
Pineapple ruler?
Yeah, I've used that once. The pineapple ruler. Just in case you ever make the same quilt twice. I have yet to make the same quilt twice. I mean, it's not saying you wouldn't, but Dana says they just see you coming with your credit card and rub their hands together. Oh yeah. They is the one, their door chime when I walk in goes ka-ching, ka-ching. They all know. In fact, yesterday when we walked in, we hadn't been in a week or two or something. Guys, hi! Oh, they're.
I thought they said, "Oh no, they're coming."
Or they're coming. Okay, was that it? Well, whatever. They knew what that meant.
Meant they had to work.
Yeah, they had to work. Yeah, they were having it because the store wasn't that busy when we went in. Yeah, it will be, Pamela. So I mean, again, this is not a cheap hobby. No hobby is. So you have to invest in your tools. The Purple says, if I was Walter, I would have told you don't make any mistakes. Oh no, he takes sadistic pleasure pointing all my mistakes out in my quilts, in my embroidery.
Yeah, well, you're lucky that sometimes I do that because otherwise that table runner you would have.
Yeah, okay, fine. But you just purposely live to find my mistakes.
No, I don't.
Oh, you do so. Mozilla says, and you'll make that project once and never use the extra products again. Ask me how I know. Yep, I know, Ma. It's true. It is true. Brenda, hi, Brenda. Here from North Carolina. I really enjoy your videos. Oh, thank you, including your quilting and sewing tips. And of course, I always get a good laugh with your quirky jokes. What jokes? Do we make jokes? I'm dead serious all the time. No. Colleen says, what will you do with the spare panels when you don't need them? It was the 200 plus device between the computer sewing machine to load patterns that broke my interest. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't know what I'll do with the panels. They're fantasy. It's a mermaid kind of a thing on them. They're pretty colors. I mean, I can always make another quilt with them, and I don't have to do it in using this method where you cut them all up or something. Or they'll sit in a box and
they're extra fabric.
They're extra fabric, yeah, because you cut them up in smaller pieces, and they got nice colors in them. So yeah, something, it'll be there. I just know if I don't have spares, I will make a mistake.
I mean, it's extra fabric. You can use extra fabric. I mean, you can cut them up into pieces and use them as colorful fabric.
Well, yeah.
So
they won't come to a miss.
Yeah. You can use them to make a bag out of them or something.
Oh, yeah. You could do that.
Yeah.
You can make a bag, sort of a thing. Yeah. Faith says, I've been told by the shop owner, oh, you are my biggest, move my arrow, sale of the day. Yeah. They love me when I walk in. And they've got a new line of fabric. I don't know what it's called. I've seen it there the last couple of times we've been in the store. It reminds me of Australian indigenous prints. I really like it. And when we were in there yesterday, I almost bought some. And I thought, I just spent all this money on a huge hoard. But now I'm thinking, when I go in there next time, if they've still got it, I'm going to buy some. What am I going to do with it? I don't know, but it's pretty. It's very, very pretty. So
yeah, we've even gone in there a few times where the owner has suddenly had a sale, an unadvertised sale, where basically she'll give him a bigger discount just so that if he buys more fabric.
Yeah. Yes, Laura, you can make bags on an embroidery machine. You do several hoopings. There's you can't really make, I haven't seen a pattern yet where you can make a full-size tote, but you can make zippered pouches and it will sew the zippers in for you. Um and yeah, you can make
Yeah,
fairly
there
good
is
ones.
one that I did see, a decent sized bag that was in what was that name of that place? Is it Creative Kiwi?
Yeah.
That does those crazy patch
Oh yeah,
bags.
yeah.
And I use sew sections of them together. I'm not
Oh, I
exactly
made
sure.
one.
Yeah, you did that, and it's a decent sized
Yeah,
bag.
it's not bad. I don't know where it is, or I'd show it. Um, but
But you did a Christmas thing with that crazy patch thing too. Was it a I can't
was
remember
that a
what it
bag?
was. No, it wasn't a bag. It was a big
Table run?
Christmas tree type thing, didn't you?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Christmas tree. Yeah, there's other things, decorations and things you can do with it. Right now, I'm working on or started today working on an in the hoop table runner that is a Halloween one. That is a really intricate looking pattern, and I've got a pattern to make a Christmas tree skirt. I haven't started it yet. I got to get that albatross hanging on the wall over there, the Christmas tree one, done, or I'll never get it done. And so many projects, so little time, you know? That's what it's like. But oh, hi, Derek. Oh, it's just you, Derek. If it didn't show up, it doesn't.
Well, I think YouTube notifications don't always show up.
They don't. You can't depend on YouTube notifications, I have found with them. It's a hit and a miss. Anyways, so couple of things coming up. Craft and Chat. This Wednesday coming, September the 7th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, running until approximately 4 o'clock. All are welcome. Those of you that are on my mailing list, you should have already received the information about it there. But those of you that aren't on the mailing list, you'll just look in the show notes below this one today when it goes into rebroadcast, or check out my videos from the past week or the ones that I'll put up on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and the Zoom link will be there. So it's always fun. You get a chance to, get some stuff done as well. So I hope, if you've never been before, don't be afraid. We don't bite unless you want us to. Come have a good time if you can. Now, for those of you who would love to come to a craft and chat, but you do some nasty thing like work, that kind of thing that eats into your time, don't know why, just because you want to eat and have a shelter over your, or a roof over your head. I am probably, this isn't an absolute guarantee, but I think I'm going to do a pop-up sew day on Saturday. Now, the reason I'm hesitating, actually, there is no hesitation. We originally were scheduled to go to Kawartha Quilting to do the long overdue interview and store tour on that Saturday, on this Saturday coming. However, Walter's sewing group, the guy who teaches his thing, decided to have a sew day, an in-person sew day. And Walter said, well, he didn't have to go to it, blah, 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 but I know he wants to go to it. And so I said, I'll just rebook with Zach. And besides, Zach's at a wedding this weekend, and the last wedding he went to, there were some people, he got contacted later that there were a couple of people at that wedding that tested COVID positive, so he was isolating himself for a little while. I don't think he actually got it, but he was being cautious because, he had to work with his staff and everything at his store. And so that delayed when we were supposed to do it that 2 weekends ago. And so that delayed that. So we made this plan, and now I'm delaying it. So anyways, that means Walter will be off doing his in-person thing with a drag queen or two that come to sew costumes, I guess, and other people in his class. Do you have any idea how many people are going to show up?
Well, there's only at least 3 for sure, maybe 4.
Oh.
And then there's Brendan, and that's 5. So,
because last time he only had what? How many showed up? There was just 3 of them. Or was there, counting Brendan?
No, I think there was about 4.
Oh, was there? Well, whatever. So that means I'll be home all by my little lonesome bored to tears. So pop-up sew day. I will definitely let you know probably by Thursday of this week, for sure. And again, if you're on my mailing list for that, I will send that information out to you, like the Zoom link, but I will also post it on the special announcement that I make on my YouTube channel too. And you can always write to me if you're not on that list. You can, and you want to be on the list, just let me know. My email is in the show notes, so just let me know you want to be on that mailing list, or on the Craft and Chat mailing list, or on the retreat. Yes, the retreat list, and I'll put you on all three, or whatever ones you want. No problem there. Nothing, speaking of the retreat, it is October the 22nd when I'll be having it. There'll be more details about it. I'll be sending those out to the people on the retreat list, and I'll be posting those in my video show notes probably after about September the 15th. Give you about 6 weeks notice of it all. And yes, you will have to register for this one. It's free, absolutely free. And registering just means that I guarantee you a spot, because I'm only going to be able to handle 95 people on my Zoom license. Now, that's never really been a problem before, but usually I've had 60, 70 people in the past ones, and more people are finding out about this. So I think the best way to make it fair is to pre-register people for it. And if by chance it fills up before that date, I'll start a waiting list. But there'll be details about how that all works and everything coming out in another couple of weeks. So nobody needs to panic right yet. And we have guest speakers. Adam Soes is one of my guest speakers. I have Lynn Reinhardt from Cotton Art Studio. She'll be speaking. And I have, I hope she's not on here. What's her name? I did an interview with her. She's going to talk about antique quilts and stuff. Oh, shoot. My mind is just nowhere today. Anyways, 3 great guest speakers.
Oh, they are great.
Yeah, so great I forgot their name. No, I did not. You're a shit disturber. Stop it. Someone ought to poke you right in the eyes. And there'll be prizes as well. So lots of things. It'll be fun. There will be an icebreaker cocktail party the night before for a couple of hours. You bring your favorite drink and we get sloshed. I mean, we talk
Sure.
and stuff.
Stephanie?
No, it's not Stephanie. Christine? Cat. Jeez. Anyways, I hope she's not on here. I don't think she is. She won't know that I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. Anyways, what are people saying here? Amy's looking forward to Cat. Nope, it's not Stephanie, Glenna. And why can't I think of her bloody name? It'll come to me. But anyways, 3 great speakers, well worth the price of admission. Yes, Chris, that's it. Gail, you've got it. It's Chris from, what's her website? Oh, well, it'll come. Yes, that's it. Good. We sounds like it's Chris O'Neill. Yeah. Hi, Donna. She forgets names too. Yeah, but it is. It's Chris O'Neill, and I forget what her YouTube channel is called. But anyways, worth the price of admission. Admission is free. Okay, so some of you have been asking in the comments and that what's going on with our deck garden. Well, we're getting near the end of the season, but we have an abundance of peppers. Yes, I'm very proud of our peppers. We have green peppers, red peppers, and now we have yellow peppers coming on. We have so many peppers, I don't know what to do with them. Tomatoes, yes, lots of tomatoes. Our second harvest of lettuce did not do well.
However, our small tomatoes, I think, are being eaten by the vermin.
Yeah, the chippies or the squirrels are getting up there and munching on our tomatoes, little buggers.
Is it Sow the Distance?
Yes, that's it. Sow the Distance. Thank you. Yeah, Chris O'Neill from Sow the Distance. Good, that's off my mind now. Anyways, I'm thinking of bringing in my basil plant, one of the basil plants, and seeing if I can have it survive over the winter. I did that last year, and it did to a point.
Well, if not, I can sprout some new ones. I have basil seeds.
So infinite basil. And Angel is not here today because I wanted to thank Angel for putting me onto this recipe that I mentioned last week called a panzella.
Yeah.
It's great. We had it last night. We're having it again tonight because it makes a lot. And that's one way of using up your peppers and your tomatoes and everything with that. It's quite a great salad. So we have had no word about our new windows and doors. It's been, now they told us 8 to 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 8 weeks now. I'm not really pushing the issue. I would like them in before suddenly we have snow. That would be nice. But the longer that it goes, the more time I have to put more money aside for this renovation. But I'm sure we'll hear from them soon, I would think. I mean, if we don't hear from them by the middle of the month or something, we'll give them a call.
Yeah, I'll give them a call and see
what's going
on.
So that, and now I want to take a brief moment here to talk about how to get our attention in comments or what not to do. Okay. It seems to me that sometimes people think we're in the middle of a conversation when they write a comment, and they will write something that makes absolutely no sense to us. It's been generated by something that was in the video. I know that, but I don't know what they're talking about. Because I'll tell you something. Once we put up a video, we don't remember what is in it. We don't
remember what we said.
We don't know what we said.
And I may have made some weird comment or something like that just for a joke, and people suddenly pick up on it or something
like that. And unless you can give us context, because honestly, I don't remember. In my own videos, I make my regular videos a week in advance to put them up. And so when those videos go up, I'm working on the next week after that.
So if somebody asks a question, you really kind of have to give you some background information as to what the question pertains to. Because they may make a question, put in a question about that video that's in the middle of something, and we don't know what you're talking about. So,
yeah. So I don't want people to think that we're ignoring them or that, we're being rude. If we don't answer the comment or, reply back to it, if it looks like it's a comment that needs a reply to it or something, and we don't, it means we don't understand what you're talking about.
It's better to give us a lot more information.
Yeah.
Than
more
nothing.
Is better. Because then we can, we're old men. Our brains we don't remember what we had for dinner last night.
What'd you have for dinner last night?
What did we have? We had some kind of chicken.
We
had chicken in that. That's right. Yeah. I had to think about that. But don't ask me what I had 2 nights ago. I don't know. It was something, I'm sure, if I thought about it. So yeah, we need that. And some people get really perturbed with me when they say, well, I wrote this 3 times in the comments.
Especially if it's an older video.
Yeah.
That you may have made 2 years ago.
Oh, I haven't got a clue what those are about. And I'll be honest about it. I don't have the time to go back and review the video to figure out what that person's asking me about. I don't. So, I don't remember. I don't have notes about what's in those videos. I have an outline, but after the video's gone up, I used to save the notes, but then I found, why am I saving these? Because I just toss them afterwards, move on to the next thing. So I don't want you to think that I'm being rude or that we're being standoffish. We're not. We just don't know what you're talking about. And sometimes people add short forms that we're not familiar with. I don't read emojis very well. I come from the generation when we didn't have those kind of things. And, unless it's an eggplant or I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, that doesn't help. And sometimes I get really cryptic comments, which I don't know if you're being funny or if you're being serious. And those ones I will tend to ignore as well because I'm not getting into a battle. Now, most people, having said that, are very nice in whatever they write. I've had a few jerks, but that's the nature of the beast of when you do a content creator. You're going to get a few. You can't help it, trolls. Okay. Also, sometimes you get criticism. It's just the 3D printer. It's going over. It does that sometimes when it's doing something. Sometimes people feel because you create something and put it out there on YouTube that you are game for criticism that isn't necessarily constructive. And I think I've told you this before. If I get one of those kind of comments, I don't deal with it. The only way I deal with it is I delete it. I remove it from the site. And if I get another one from the same individual, I eliminate the person. I delete them too. I block them for all time from YouTube. In fact, if you block somebody from your YouTube channel, you can't get them back, even if you want to. So it's a permanent thing. So I don't have to do that very often, but you get trolls. So I guess what we're saying is we enjoy your comments. We like the dialogue that's happening back and forth. But please, if it's something you really want us to comment on or you've got a question, give us context. Give us details so we can figure out what it is you're asking. Because otherwise we can't read your brain. I mean, I can do a lot of things, but I can't read minds. Well, I used to tell the kids in school I could. And then I tell them what they were thinking and they go, oh, how did you know that? Because I know you, but I can read minds. It used to scare the crap out of them. Jan says, I like being seriously naughty. Yeah, Jan, I know you are. Because you're a dirty girl, Jan. You are a dirty girl. So, speaking of school, Labor Day weekend, this is Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, tomorrow's Monday, so it's Labor Day. And then here in Canada, for most kids, they go back to school. And
I think in Alberta, it's not Labor Day, it's Alberta Day.
Of course it is.
About them.
Of course it would be in Alberta. Would you expect anything less from an Albertan? No. Good God. Redneck province. You know, they're the only province where the houses are on wheels all the time. But anyways, enough about how I feel about Alberta. Anyways, back to school. So, kids are all getting ready, you know, there's the big controversy here in Ontario, you know, that they don't have to wear masks, and if they are suspected that they might have COVID or something, they're supposed to isolate, of course. Don't send your kid to school if they're sick. Yeah, well, that goes with anything and the whole bit. But basically our government is saying those little buggers are going back to school whether you like it or not. Oh, Barb says, I'm in Alberta. Stop picking on me. Well, Barb, you're the one exception that has bricks holding up your house then. Met you. But I'm joking. Maybe. Anyways, I'm glad I'm retired from teaching. Because, you know, through this whole pandemic, we have heard all this about. We've heard about the frontline workers. We've heard about the nurses and how hell of a job they have had. And yes, they have. Okay, I'm not refuting that. The doctors overloaded, you know, and not enough of them. Paramedics overworked, you know, firefighters, the police, all of these ones. But you never hear them talk about the teachers. You know, at least if you're a nurse and you're working in a hospital with sick people, you do have protective gear. What does a teacher have? Nothing. Nothing. There are not plexiglass walls between you and the kids. Sure, you've got a mask. You're working with little kids in primary and elementary school. You know how well those masks stay on their little faces. High school kids, they don't want to wear a mask. They want to wear a bandana, or they want to dress it up, you know, and that kind of thing. And they want to wear it at a swankish, way, like their nose is hanging out or down here. Some of those kids just want to be belligerent and pull it out from their face all the time and like dare the teacher to say, put that on your face, right? This is what the teachers have to put up with. These kids are already covered in germs. You've heard me say that before. And this is what teachers are being thrown into the middle of with no support. The government is turning around and saying, we don't care about the teachers. All we care about is getting those little buggers back into the seats in the school because their parents are all over our faces right now because the parents have had it. They don't want them at home and they've got to go to work, and let the school raise the kids and babysit them, which is exactly what it's all about. Well, I say, if anybody on the front lines needs to be given accolades, rewards, respect, it's teachers, because they've gotten absolutely none of that through this whole thing. And that's just compounded upon the lack of respect that teachers today get from parents and from students in general, even before there was a pandemic. I remember when I first started teaching back in the early 80s, 1981, you had the respect from the kids. The kids weren't like they are today. And the reason that the kids are the way they are is because they don't have respect for their parents either. And their parents let them get away with that. So they just transfer that behavior right onto the parental figures of teachers in the school. It's bad. And people need to respect the job that teachers do. Not everybody can walk into a classroom and spew forth from the top of their head, because that's the general belief that many people in general society think that's what teachers do. They think, oh, yeah, you're an expert in English or whatever. You just go in there and just rattle all this stuff up. You don't do any prep or anything. Yeah, no. If it was only that easy. And we have a problem right now where we have nurses leaving the profession because of the hell they've had to go through during COVID and because of the way the government has treated those. Well, mark my words, we're going to have a shortage of teachers too. There already is a shortage of teachers, because young people who are going into the profession are going to look at this and go, this is not what I signed up for.
This is too much work.
Yeah, this is too much work. This is too much hell for little pay. And that's the other thing that's coming up too in the fall. All the teachers' unions will be negotiating, because their contracts, the teachers are now working as of August the 31st in Ontario without contracts, because they usually have a 4-year contract and it ran out. And the government is already saying, we're not going to give you any kind of a raise beyond 1%. And even though inflation is at, what is it at now? 11?
No, it's about 8, 9, 10%.
10%, and contrary to popular opinion, teachers don't make that much money. They don't make what a doctor makes. They don't make what a lawyer makes. They don't make what an Indian chief makes. Those are all professionals.
In fact, a lot of people that work in offices, in professional offices, make more money than teachers do.
With it. And yes, school runs from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock or 2:30 in the afternoon. 6 hours of classes or something like that. No, teachers work more than 6 hours in a day. Hours and hours of prepping, hours and hours of marking before school, after school, on weekends. Yeah, that's why teachers drink a lot. We have to. I know of that of which I speak as a retired teacher. So, if you see a teacher this week, on the street going to school or something like that, roll down your car window or as you're walking by and say, thank you for your service. It's the least you can do, because they are going to a battlefield, okay? They're on the front line. They're in the line of fire. And unfortunately, in this day and age, teachers are going in unarmed with it, thanks to the government, thanks to the parental units out there, and to the kids themselves too. I am so glad that I am retired. So, and if any of you have teachers in your family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, what are people seeing now that I've stirred up the pot?
Not much. They're listening.
Okay. I probably went into teacher mode on you. Now you're afraid to say anything. Amy says, I really appreciate you bringing up being more descriptive in the comments. I never had thought about it before. It makes complete sense. Um, Derek says, I had to teach at the university with a mask on, and it was so tiring. Harder to read the nonverbal cues from students so you could make teaching effectively very hard. Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's something I hadn't really thought of. But yeah, a lot of what I said about reading kids' minds, actually, I could usually guess what they were thinking by looking at the expression on their face. But if half of their face is covered, and most of them have a dead stare, so you can't tell any expression in that. You need to see this, the face, the mouth. Because usually they're making some kind of, yeah, really, yeah, bite me. Shady Susan, there isn't much respect in the world these days at all. That's very true, Susan. Colin says, here on PEI, a teacher had a 4-year BA and a 2-year teaching BA. Apparently, they're accepting people with 1 year of post-secondary education to be teachers. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That is ridiculous. But obviously, there's a shortage of teachers, so just throw anybody in a classroom.
If you breathe, you can teach.
If you breathe, you can teach. Yeah, really. Cheryl says, retiring last year after 28 years in the school system, this last 14 years at the middle school level, I agree. Yeah, so Cheryl, you know what it's like. I taught for 32 years. So, yeah. And Brenda agrees. Right on, Brenda. Yep, it is. It's a very, very difficult job. Oh, it's a very rewarding job, too. I mean, I love being a teacher. I liked my job, but it was a lot of work. And, you know, you can put up with the workload as long as you get some respect for it. But the government's not giving teachers any respect. Parents see it as a big, babysitting service. They never, if their kid's not doing well, it's the teacher's fault. It's not the kid's fault or the fact that the parents don't do anything with them at home and check to make sure they've got their homework done. Kids don't do homework anymore. And in fact, teachers, in my last few years of teaching, it was easier not to assign very much homework than to have to chase down the kids and see if they did it. You started to design lesson plans where you could handle the homework and everything like that at the same time in the classroom, which meant that there was less learning going on because that took up more class time to do all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Paula. Hi, Paula. I did lots of volunteer hours for teachers when my kids and grands were in school. Hats off to you all. I know how hard you work, and then the stuff you have to put up with. Ugh, I couldn't do it. Yeah. So to all my teaching friends out there who are still working, still teaching, hats off to you. I hope you have a good school year. I hope you survive. And I just want to say, it was glorious to be a teacher, but it's even more glorious to be a retired teacher from it. And that's why I drink. Never leaves your system. Okay, so I just wanted to say that about that. So, what's coming up in your week? Oh,
Craft and chat.
Craft and chat, yes, the highlight of the week. Yeah, we don't have anything else. Oh, I have a hair appointment. Yay. And my hairdresser moved to a new salon. So, and it's further away than where she was before. But anyways, I'll follow her to the ends of the earth because, once you get a good hairdresser, you go wherever they go. And I have been with her I was thinking about this other day. I think I've been with Laura for 30 years. Good God. She knows my head well. Actually, it takes her 5 minutes to cut my hair. It takes her 15 minutes to trim my beard. She loves to do barber work because she's also a trained barber as well. And so I guess unless you get a woman that's having some difficulty, she doesn't get an opportunity to shave beards that often in her practice. She does a good job, though. I have to say that. I always like it after I come out with that done. Cheryl says the students emulate their parents. They learn to know. Of course they do. Kids are born a blank slate. Anything a child does, they learn. It's a learned behavior. And where did they learn the behavior the most and the earliest from? At home. So, bad parenting. Actually, there was a whole thing on a cruise YouTube channel, Lalita Loco, I think it's called. He does reviews about cruising and everything like that, and I watch him every now and then. And he was talking about uh,
Carnival.
cruise lines,
Yeah.
yeah, and Carnival having curfews on kids because the parent and passengers complaining that there's packs of kids on these cruises that are running amok because the parents aren't controlling them, and then parents get all upset because they call it parent shaming.
Yeah, well, like they were having a curfew at night. By 11 o'clock, your kids had to be in their room or type of thing, right? If they were under 17.
They had to
Right.
be supervised.
Yeah, or supervised or whatever. Um, and parents were upset about that or
Yeah,
whatever because they were letting their kids run all over the ship. So,
and so, basically the same mentality as I just said about how some parents treat the school system like a big babysitting service. The parents go on a vacation, they take their kids with them, and they expect the crew on the ship and everybody to keep the kids entertained and to look after them while they're enjoying their, margarita on the promenade deck or
well, not only
whatever.
that, I would think that these people would be trying to hold a cruise ship responsible if something happened to their
Oh,
kid after
you
hours.
can bet
So,
they would be with it all. Like, oops, I dropped my baby over the balcony, uh, which was a sad thing, but it did actually happen a few years ago. But yeah, so if this is what these people do, I say if you want a vacation where you don't have to supervise your own children, then don't take your children with you. Go on your own vacation and leave them with the grandparents or whoever to babysit the kids or something, because kids would probably have more fun anyways that way. Because let's face it, although some cruises do have things for teenagers and for kids and that to keep them amused, like kids clubs or something, cruise ships are basically adult entertainment for the whole bit. So, leave your kids at home. Go and enjoy yourself, have your vacation, then come back and, try to put your house back together after your teenage kids have drank all your liquor and had wild parties while you were gone. Another reason why I don't want children ever in my life. With it, like as if I could have any.
Andy
says many years ago here in Chicago, the mayor wanted to start a program allowing corporate professionals to get a quick certification and teach in the schools. And how'd that work out? Like quick certification. When I went, I had to get a 4-year degree, and then I had to get another degree that was 1 year, which was teacher's college.
Yeah, but isn't that degree now a 2-year degree?
It's 2-year, like what they were saying about PEI. It's the same thing. I think it's the same across Canada. So I had a bachelor, an honors bachelor degree in arts in English, and then I got a Bachelor of Education degree in that 1 year. Then you were on probation when you first started teaching for the first 2 years of teaching, where you would be inspected, and that was scary. They were like, I'll never forget my first inspection. The superintendent, it was a superintendent, and this was this guy who'd been around in the teaching profession for at least 150 years. He didn't look a day under 149. He comes in, walks into my classroom. Now, these were surprise. You didn't know when they were coming. And so you just hoped on that day everything was working well. They would check your day planner, your day book, as we called it, which is where all your lesson plans had to be written out in a prescribed method that you learned at teacher's college, and your kids had to behave in a certain way and whatnot. He walked into my classroom. This guy was well over 6 feet tall. He was not a fat person. He was just a large man, very intimidating. He walked in. My desk is at the front of the classroom. Kids have desks. It's high school. There's no way. I didn't have an extra desk in the room. I couldn't give him my desk because I was actually using it during the class. Like I wasn't sitting at it, but I had all this stuff on it because I forget what it was that I was showing the kids, and I needed the space. So there was one desk at the back of the classroom. There was no way this man Well, I said to him, if you'd like to take a seat there, sir. And I knew, how's he going to fit in it? He's too big for the desk. He managed to cram his body into it. I knew when he stood up, the desk was coming up with him. And he sat back there and he never blinked. He said nothing. He never blinked. He was there for my full class, 70 minutes long. And the kids knew what was happening. And I'll give the kids at that point in time credit. They were like gold. They responded to everything well. They were an ideal classroom. When he left at the end of the class, one of the kids said to me, turned around and goes, "You owe us." They knew what that was there for. But that was horrendous. I passed. But you had to have several of these each over the 2-year period too. It was scary. So this was not an easy job. It got a little bit easier in terms of, you knew what to expect. You learned, you had a toolbox of little things you could pull out of it when things weren't going the way you wanted them to go and that kind of stuff. But that was years of experience by then. But in those first few years, no. And in those days too, a teacher could be fired for not wearing a tie, for being gay, for, if you looked at a senior teacher or your department head the wrong way, you could be fired. That has changed. But, who wants to get into that kind of profession, really? So, throwing in somebody fresh out of high school, not going to make it. They used to call it, I don't know why they called it this. They called it normal school back in my parents' time. And so when you came out of high school, you could go to normal school in the summer or something, and I guess you took courses along the way, but you didn't need a university degree, and you could teach. Well, they eventually got rid of that because the curriculum became so much more sophisticated, and teachers became specialists in their subject area. Like I'm a specialist in English, literature, and that kind of stuff, and in writing and grammar, God forbid, and that kind of stuff. So that all changed. But yeah, to go back to what Andy's saying, yeah, I don't think so. Kathy says, is there anyone? Yeah. Colleen says, so the parents wanted the kids to be dropped off and then be able to sue the cruise line. Yeah, exactly. The teachers threw a fit and the program idea was dropped. Well, that's a good thing. Kathy says, you and me too, Stephen. Retired and don't miss what I hear former colleagues are going through. Yep. 44 years for you, Kathy. Oh my God. It's a wonder you're still breathing. And Derek says, I was made to study for a teaching qualification once I was appointed to faculty. My issue was the assessors often worried more about learning theory rather than whether you were teaching effectively. Yeah, I could see that happening as well. That's the thing. Here in our province, community colleges, you do not need a teacher qualification to teach that. Well, you don't need a teaching qualification to teach at university in Ontario either. You just need to be somebody who is an expert or considered an expert in your field. And in the case of community college, you can go in and say, look, I'd like to go in and I'd like to teach how to use a computer to write better essays or something like that. I'm making this up out of the top of my head. And as long as you can get the minimum number of students to sign up for that class, you can teach it. You don't need any qualifications.
Yeah, like I know a couple of people that one was a project leader or whatever, and for systems, for computer systems, and put made an application and actually taught a class in project leader or whatever, what you have to be a project leader at community college level. And then that lady that I know that's in my sewing class, she was teaching community college because she was something to do with management or something like that, how to deal with management or something like that.
How did that work out for her?
Well, we talked to her. Yeah, at first she had a hard go of it, but she sort of
learned the tricks.
Yeah,
some of the tricks with it. Well, too, and it was a community college thing, so you
Yeah.
would expect the people taking one of those courses would be, you know, not like high school students. Although, having said that, I got involved at community college when I first retired to come in as a guest speaker on a couple of occasions. And believe me, I said to the lady teaching the course, she was in healthcare or something, or social work or whatever, and she was complaining about the fact that she sets due dates for assignments and they don't come in, and they've all got an excuse for it, and they don't do the work and stuff like that. And I said, oh, this is just like high school.
Well, when I went to community college, but that was a long time ago. If you didn't hand in your work, you got 0.
Well, apparently I said that to her. I said, well, if they don't hand it in, they get 0, right? And she says, well, yeah, I give them that. And then they take it to whatever, the faculty board or whatever they are, the administration, and complain about it, and they end up getting more chances in the whole bit. So it's kind of like when a parent would call me up. Yeah, Johnny doesn't have his assignment quite ready yet, so he won't be handing it in until Friday. And I'd say, well, that's fine. That's 3 days ahead. Not a problem. It is 5% off the final mark on the assignment for every day late. Well, you can't do that. And what? Well, that's the rule. Well, who made the rule? Well, that's the rule of the department. Well, I want to talk to the department head. And I'd smile and go, you're speaking to him. Would you like to go higher? Possibly to God? Because God won't listen to you either. And when I mean God, I mean the principal. So, yeah, they would try that. And why can't Johnny or Susie get her assignment in on time? Well, I took them out of school to do some shopping.
Or they've got too many hockey games that they have to go to.
Yeah, and they're a little tired. Or, well, we thought we'd just pop down to Florida for a week. It's October. It's not even Christmas holidays for that. Yeah. So, oh God, it's bringing up bad thoughts. I don't want to think about it.
Andy says, when Jeannie and I started in our field of work,
you had
to have a graduate degree to get an interview.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had to have teachers college, of course, when I went into teaching, like to get an interview as well. So Pamela says, politics of teaching drove my brother-in-law out, but he put his knowledge to work as a traveling teacher, Civil War era soldier. Schools booked him year after year, and the students loved it. Yeah. Well, you see, that's actually clever, because you get to do something that's very specialized. You get to travel around when you're doing it. You are basically developing your own curriculum, in a sense. Not sure what it pays, and of course, kids love you because you're not the teacher. You're a guest speaker, and the kids, and you don't have to worry about disciplining them. You just have to get through the presentation and move on to the next one. Leave them to the teacher to ream them out for being a bad audience or whatever. So yeah, I could see that being a good thing. But anyways, just as I said, back to my point today with Labor Day, teachers deserve more respect than they're getting from the majority. It is a majority of the society today. And if you see one, thank them for their service. A kind word to a teacher goes a long, long way. So does the gift of a bottle of wine. But I mean, it won't last long because the teacher, look what I got today. Yeah, where's the straws? Okay, gone. But anyways, that's why teachers are so much fun. As long as they're with other teachers and they're not around kids. They can be a scream and a half. Yeah. Okay, people. So that's it for today. Craft and Chat on Wednesday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link is in the show notes below for all of that. And hope to see some of you there on Wednesday. And Pop-Up So Day, not 100% guaranteed, but more than likely, this coming Saturday. That would start at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can come in anytime you want and run until I get bored with you, which usually means about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Depends when Walter gets home. He'll have to have a little time to cook dinner and prepare things like that. It'll be cocktail hour. So, have a good weekend. See everybody. Enjoy what's left of this long weekend. Welcome fall. And we'll see you next week, if not sooner. Say goodbye, Walter.